Hey, what's up, friends? It's Melinda Rychlik-Clark here with Empower the Yet. I am so excited to be sharing this with you today because it just keeps coming up and keeps coming up. But in Empower Your Marketing, which is our community where we share all things marketing, I have a virtual assistant business. It's a full service business where I help women really stay focused on what they're passionate about in their business and take some of the virtual assistant stuff from them so they can focus on what their passion is. I am also a life coach. I do mindset coaching in that group as well as with Healing in the Kingdom. And I'm so excited to share our topic today, which is called Imposter Syndrome. So imposter syndrome is rampant. It just runs rampant amongst moms, business owners, wives, in friendships. Because as women, we get caught in that trap of comparing ourselves to other people. And what I want you to know is from a godly perspective, God has called us to have faith. If we have a deep faith, we can really overcome imposter syndrome pretty quickly. Okay. He has called us to be, to have strength and courage. Joshua 1:9 says, wherever he goes, he is there. Wherever we go, he is there with us. We are not to be afraid or discouraged. That we're supposed to have strength and courage. And that's every day in our life. Okay. So I'm going to share some examples of what imposter syndrome looks like. And maybe you have dealt with it. If you're like, I'm not real sure if I've ever had to, I have pretty good confidence. Yeah, I hear you. And so, but there are a lot of people who get caught up in imposter syndrome because they're like, oh man, I don't have what she has, or she's a nicer mom than me, or they travel a lot with their kids and I can't do that, and you feel bad and you feel like a bad mom and you're comparing. It's the comparison trap, right? And then, you're like, oh, wow, I'm way strict in parenting, like way strict in parenting. And they're so like, their kids are so good and they're so easy on their parenting. Listen, let me tell you something. As a parent, you know your kids better than anyone. You have laid the foundation for your family, and every family is different. Every family is different. You've got different personalities, you've got different temperaments, it's just totally different. If I parented my kids in a way where I was so soft-spoken and so, just so nice all the time and all this kind of stuff, my kids would go, what? Because it's not their personality. My kids are high energy. They are, and that's just them. It's just them. And it's me, right? It's me too. So we have a different dynamic than some of my other friends that have families, and I had to learn how to stop comparing myself. Their kids might not be as strong-willed as mine. Y'all, I birthed 5, not just one of mine, 5 children that are strong-willed. Okay. So as a friend is like, doing all these things and, it looks all like, candy and flowers and all kinds of stuff and rainbows and whatever, over unicorns over here. And it's a hot mess express at our house. It's because we have got lots of energy. Okay. And we have got lots of strong personalities over here, like dynamic, go-getter, gold. I am determined I'm going to have it my way from birth. Okay. I had a pediatrician one time tell me, he's like, you need to read James Dobson's book called Strong-Willed Child. I was like, oh no. Sophia was 18 months. And I was like, ooh. Some of my kids are not as strong-willed as others. And I say this to say this. As a mother, you get caught up in this imposter syndrome, like, oh, why can't I just have this picture perfect and everything's, hunky-dory and da-da-da. Now, some of it has to do with parenting, and you have to adjust that, okay? I'm not denying that at all. But some of it has to do with stop comparing yourself, because these are the children God gifted you, and they're a lot like you. So what I've learned as a parent is sometimes in parenting, they are given to you as a gift so they can break you of some of the things that you continue to do. They are to humble you. They are to make you a better person. And so when you get caught up in this comparison trap, even as a parent, you can become resentful. You can become sad. You can become anxious. But when you embrace the gifts as they are and go, okay, God, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to teach me as a parent, as a person? And what I've learned is that I've had to adjust me. I've had to work on me, because the children, just like in marriage, your children can be mirror images of where you are and what you need to work on yourself. So when that perspective was shown to me, I was like, oh, well, I guess all this imposter syndrome is silly, because here I am, right? Business the same way. Guys, I've been in network marketing for over a decade. I've been a coach for a long time. I mean, a coach before I was actually technically called a coach. And sometimes I was really good at it and sometimes I wasn't. But what happens is you get in here and you're like, oh, wow, well, I guess she's going to take all the people because she is just really dynamic and running so fast. And I'm just over here just kind of like, what am I doing? And then you start to have this comparison, like, I'm not like her. I'm not good enough like her. She's better at this and she's better at this. And this girl's better at that. And, she can get more customers and she can coach better and she has a ton of money. And, well, that's just not me. And then you compare yourself, and guess what? Because you're wasting energy comparing yourself, you're not running as fast as her. You're not gaining customers as fast as her. You're not doing this as fast as her. So guess what? You're your own worst enemy. You're not being strong and courageous like the Lord's called you to be. He's gone before you. He's behind you. He's all around you. He's there with you. But guess what? You don't have faith that you're going to get through it. Your journey is not her. Your journey is your journey. So how are you going to step into that and stop comparing yourself and know that, no, you're not her. Thank God you're not her. She has a whole set of problems you don't even know how to deal with, because God has not equipped you with that. He's equipped you with dealing with you, right? You're not this girl over here because you're not her. Thank goodness, because you would know how to handle her problems. See, you don't see all of that on social media. You don't see what happens when you end the video and you end the recording, and you don't see what's behind the scenes. All you see is what she wants you to see. So when you don't see her struggle with depression and parenting and marriage and addiction and all these kinds of things that people don't share with you online. So when you compare yourself, you can't really compare. It's a false representation of everything. Now, some people are authentic and vulnerable online, thank God. But the thing is you're only seeing a little bit. So stop it. Stop chasing that shiny ball syndrome. It is not as green. The grass isn't always as green on the other side. Your grass is just as green. You just stop watering it. When you start to water your own grass and you start to look around and find the gratitude in what you have, that is when that self-sabotage, that imposter syndrome is going to stop, because you're actually walking into what God is calling you to do. He wants you to be you. He's created you in his image. He's created you for a purpose and a reason, right? I tell my kids this all the time. God gave you ADD because this is your story. right? You're in a divorced family. This is your story. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to make it bad? Are you going to look at it for all the good and deal with the pain in the situation, right? Or you have dyslexia. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to let it cripple you, or are you going to let it drive you, right? What are you going to do with it? It's up to you. It is up to you. So, it's one of those things where it's perspective too, imposter syndrome, but it's also a deep, abiding faith that you have got to go forth and walk into your faith and know that God created you for a purpose. You're in this situation for a purpose. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep following Cindy Lou Who over here, who you want her life, but her life is not your life? God wants you to create your own life. Now, maybe that's an example, but what are you going to do with you? You don't look like her. You don't act like her. You're not her. You don't live like her. You don't have her same struggles. You are you. And so step into who God's calling you to be. When you finally step into your own identity, a lot of the self-sabotaging will fall away. A lot of the imposter syndrome will seem insignificant, because it's like, oh, I have all these gifts that so and so doesn't have. I have all these things that so and so doesn't have. These are your strengths and weaknesses. And either you step into it with this amazing mindset of like, this is my story, so what am I going to do? Am I going to be a story of encouragement, or am I going to be a victim? What are you going to do? So in Empower Your Marketing, we're going to be talking about this and how this represents how this really affects your business, and how you can kind of overcome that by stepping into who you are. So I want to encourage you. First of all, I hope what I said really encouraged you and hit home today, because I want you to know something. You're created for a reason. You're created for a purpose. You're created in God's image, and your story can be a story of hope, courage, and strength, or it can be a really sad story to go, man, she had so much potential, but she never saw it in herself. Who are you going to be? Who are you going to step in to be? Right? So in Empower Your Marketing, we are very much encouraging you to step into who you are, not what somebody else is. Stop chasing that shiny ball syndrome and thinking that you're going to, that something on the other side is going to get you where you are, unless God is actually calling you to do that. So I want you to tune in and listen today. If you'll go to my Facebook cover, you can check out the link for Empower Your Marketing. Just click on the picture above my profile, and it'll give you the link. But remember, until next time, slay those giants in your life to live happy, joyous, and free in Christ by empowering the yet, so you can change your family tree. Bye, guys.